Hi, I'm Kathy George. I'm the head volleyball coach at Michigan State. This is Shaylin Jackson, Becca Zalabis, and Kendra Abron. They're going to help us go through a blocking series that we've done over the years, and we do this pretty regularly so that we have the footwork down. We do our blocking trips so that it's natural during a game. We're going to take you through that and then point out some interesting points for us and when we notice we're being most effective and least effective. So let's get started. We're going to do a step slant first. And we have Mike here, Mike Golick, with deflated balls, and they're going to grab that ball. What I'm looking for here with Shaylin is her ready position, is a coiled position with her hands high. As we're moving without a swing block, we're looking to get a quicker ball. So we're going to be doing a step and then a slant. And so as Shaylin's doing this, she'll step, and then she'll kick her feet out to have a slant. And we notice her body is inside here on the line to stop herself and to go straight up and down. We're looking that she's always here. She's never right of her right arm. She's never reaching out here, but she's reaching in this direction. So we do a lot of work with this, and we grab balls from the other side of the net to make sure we're penetrated. Again, we're looking for the coiled position. Go ahead, Shaylin, step and slant, and she gets up and grabs it and pulls it down. Go under the net, please. And then we're doing step slant, and Becca goes in there. We're looking for posture. We're looking for their heads to be in line. They come down balanced, bending their knees, unlike Kendra, bending their knees when they come down, and having that balance up and then down, and then through. Step, slant, and up. We're also talking about this. We're looking at the quickness off the floor. We don't want the plant to be very long in nature. We want it to be here quick and up. We talk about hot coals or the floor being very hot that they have to get up quickly. So we want to be cat-like, springy, and fast. Ready? Go. Fast. Off the floor and up. Off the floor and up. Good. Step, slant. Step, slant. And at different times when we're teaching, we put some tape down on the floor to see that they're traveling in a single line. And then they come up. Again, talking balance, stop, cachet. So when we're looking, I'm looking for, are they opening up and coming off the net? Are they staying level here? Is the right foot turned in, or are they leading with an open hip? In this move, it's pretty basic, it's pretty short distance. We're looking for them to stay square to the net so that we don't have to turn back onto the net. We try to eliminate extra motion. Go ahead, Shay. And up. Very good balance. Step, slant. Good. This is the motion that we use, step slant, and then we move into a step crossover slant as we're pinched more. One of the reasons for pinching, especially in the Big Ten, is you see a lot of back row attack. We see a lot of middle attack coming in this direction. So we want to be able to be pinched, still getting outside. This would be we use this more for double quick combinations where there's a 31 or a B, and then they've got to get out for a lower set out. So it's a step, crossover, slant. She leads, crossover, and slant. Okay, quick motion. And we teach both things. We teach this movement, and we teach swing motion. Step, crossover, slant, and up. Step, crossover, slant. Oops, she did. All right, we busted her. Okay, and now Becca's starting with her hands really low. She's like Miss Sunshine down here with her hands around her face. Keeping her hands high is important, again, with a double quick combination. Step slant and go. Great. So after we've done this footwork in a series, we'll move into a swing block. And here we are along the net. And Shaylin's going to start there. She's going to turn, cross her foot over, and bring her arms back up. Go ahead. Step. Step, crossover, and slant. Now, when we're talking about the swing blocking, one thing that we carried from the last blocking sequence to this blocking sequence is the fact that there's a slant. I really believe the slant is extremely important, and you can also do that in a swing block. And that's when you're doing this crossover step. You're really seeing your foot lead in order to gain control of your body and change your weight over here to the right so that I'm coming in. It's important for me to get my hands across the net, get them up so that they're not too late on the ball. So she crosses over and up. Now when we pinch block, and again we're pinch blocking or bunch blocking when there's back row attack, when there's middle play here, where there's double combinations inside with the left side, we're going to add a step crossover, and slant. And we train these movements so that they're very fluid, very easy, we're smooth, we're efficient, and quick. So go ahead, shake, step, crossover, and slant. There you go. Very important for us to notice the balance. They come up, they come down, their head stays level. Step, crossover, slant. I like their arms slightly bent, and that's to get them across the net a little bit earlier. I know there's different coaches, especially the men's game, they really widen out here. And I'm noticing in women's volleyball, we're seeing a little bit of a more quick tempo set, and we really have to get across that net earlier. We bend our arms, bring them through quicker to get them in this position at an earlier point. One thing that we've noticed with our team, again, is they get so into their footwork that they're not really paying attention to the right cues. We want them to be able to identify, to once they're making the move, to be able to spot the hitter. What are we looking at? The ball's been set outside. Where are we looking? One of the things, Russ, if you can come up here and aid us here, is you didn't do that with your ball, did you? The hands. Okay, so when Shaylin's coming out, we're going to ask her to get a sequence. Russ is going to give 3 fingers, different fingers of numbers, so that they're going to have to say where he's at. Now he's going to try to go behind Russ or Mike here, so he's looking at the hands right in this direction. So he's giving numbers so that our players are sequencing and moving while they're watching the hitter. Okay, so Russ is going to put his fingers up there. Shaylin's going to have to call out what he's saying, what he's doing. You're going to do 3 numbers, Russ, so they go through the sequence. Quick with your finger. Okay. Step, crossover, slant. Look at Russ.
2.
And it's with a swing block. Okay. Step.
2.
So they're calling that they're seeing the right. So you're noticing the form is breaking down a little bit. And that's because they're concentrating on a couple of different things. Now, they're calling what Russ is putting up there a little bit early. So now in order to make sure they're sequencing all the way through, Russ may go 1 and then 2. They have to call out 2 numbers to make sure that they're getting it all the way until they're contacting the ball. We want to get it quicker in that direction. All right, so go.
1, 2.
Okay.
1.
Good. All right, so again, this is processing their visual, being able to maintain what they're doing with balance as they're blocking and checking on the right things. So very important to get our athletes to watch the attacker and what shots they're hitting so that they're available to block that ball. Now we know we're not single blocking most of the time, so we need to work on how do our players work with double block. So we're going to have both of them starting in a pinch position, say a right side blocker and a middle, and they're going to work together. Now, what we do is Becca is going to be coming past Mike, and she's going to be blocking this deflated ball with this hand, while Shaylin comes and she grabs with her right hand. This is making sure we're pressing into the seam and that we're working together as a unit instead of a single block. So let's go ahead and do that. And we go through the entire blocking sequence again with all of the footworks that we've gone over in the past. So they've got to learn to work together. Okay.
Ready?
Okay, and you're hearing Becca call ready up. That's so that we really work together. And balancing when we come down. Very important. Stay out of the net. There it is. Then we would go to where she's moving farther over. Becca's in. Okay, we're going to move together. Step, slant, press together. We're in the net. Let's stay out of that net. There we go. Step, crossover, slant. Up. Good. Step, crossover, slant. Now, one thing I really like about Shaylin, and I think Shaylin, she's a phenomenal blocker. She's always been so great for us. But one of the things that Shaylin does when she's working is she keeps those shoulders square. So when she's working with Kendra, they're going back. Notice her shoulders and her hip. Their shoulder and her hip are really square to the net as much as possible. A lot of kids try to open up on this move. We really don't want her. We want her to be like a closet door. She's going right along the net. She's moving quickly and getting that fast plant in there to catch up with Kendra. So here we go.
Ready?
And she squares and goes. All right, so we'll continue on here. As we've gone through the step closing, now we're working with a swing block. We want our middle blocker to get with Kendra, and so she'll take a step when Kendra takes a crossover with her inside leg and they go up. So that we coordinate this movement, and we'll do this a little slower here now. Shaylin's going to take her step out, and Kendra's going to move this inside leg, and then they go together and they work. Now this is really important to get them to move together, that they're in sequence, and that when Kendra's moving this inside leg, Shaylin, come on over. They're gonna be going together. Go double mint twins right here, and then stop. Let's go into the double mint twin part. Okay, here we go, cross. They're stepping over at the same time, and then they're working into their slants at the same time. So this is really important. We like to work with them next to each other as much as possible so that we're as smooth and easy as we can be. So it's a step to her, it's crossover, and up, and balance. Working on these trips are really important to get our block timing together. All right.
Ready?
All right, thank you. All right, we're bringing in here, what Mike is going to do is he's going to throw the ball up. And we want to teach our hands to work independently. We want the players to be able to see the ball and control the follow through of the motion. So Shaylin's going to be going through, and we're going to go through our entire blocking sequence. They're going to work their outside hand and then their inside hand. And of course we would repeat this the opposite direction, but for the ease of this drill, we'll just show it in this, it's going to the right. Outside hand, inside hand, throwing it back into the 3 zone. All right, here, step slant. And the next one, Shay, step slant. Outside, inside hand. So you're really trying to coordinate your movement, your brain and your hands at the same time. It's hand, hand, and really finishing. Step slant. And we're working to be quick. Hands high, step slant, and move. Okay, we're going to the step crossover slant swing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through some single hand blocking, and we want to really focus on one hand and the other hand and what are they doing on their own. We really find that by doing this drill we learn to penetrate better. They're focused on reaching across to Mike and turning the ball in. So many times we reach out and the ball just kind of ricochets out of bounds. We don't want to do that. We want to have control with our outside hand. We want to be strong here. And as Shaylin's reaching across, she's pressing in and trying to get the direction that we're looking for. By single blocking, we'll work on the right hand, and then we're going to work on the left hand independently so that it continues to press into the court. She's coiled, jumps up, and presses. She'll stay for 3. Okay. All right. Got that. Press down. Good. Keeping an eye on Mike, watching his hand, getting that hand to the ball and pressing in. As we do these drills, I've noticed time and time again that our players start to identify what it really means to penetrate the net. They will not get the feedback they're looking for if their hands are not pressing quickly and they're not across the net. And Shaylin won't put up with just 3. She's saying, I want it right before I go into that net. Okay, good. Square and press. And the feedback will be this. If you're falling back, the ball's going to ricochet off the net, go out of bounds. When they're pressing, when you notice that they're pressing, they're getting across the net, it's going straight down. When they come back to Mike, that means they're not really pressing at the time of contact. So they're going across and they're grabbing that ball, they're pressing it in, turning the thumb, getting that ball around here. We're going to work on the inside hand now, and so they're going to have to work independently with this left hand. A very weak hand sometimes in the block. Go ahead. Good. So using that left hand, pressing in. Oh, have to line up. There it is. So Kendra got across on that third ball and really was able to block it. Her arm was late in the first 2. I like this drill because it exposes when you're not doing it right. Players really on their own start to self-correct. Reaching a little back, then turn. Yep. Press. That's it. Press. Put the other hand up here. There you go. Nice, nice. All right, so we'll go through this, and then we'll go through a series where they're stepping and blocking and going through the entire footwork series. Let's just do one of every step. We'll go step slant, step crossover slant, swing block, and then step swing block. Okay? Let's go with the outside hand first. Because we need to be able to move and then also isolate one hand. Step slant. Using the outside hand only. Outside hand only. Swing block. crossover, swing look. Trying to isolate the hand. There it is. Becca, way to use it. That's it. Use that other hand a little bit there. Now, one thing we're finding with Shaylin, and this is what's happening, she's coming a little short and she's reaching out. If you get even with here, it's better to be moving in rather than out, and you're getting a little less out of your footwork to get to the point, the plant point that we're looking for. So, getting a little bit more with your feet will also help your hand contact. Press one hand. Now they're going to work their inside hand. That's it. Step slant. Okay, balance, balance, balance. Good. Go. And she's blocking the ball with her left hand. So when we're teaching and when we go through all these sequences in our gym, we will work independently. We want them to be able to block with their left hand. We want them to be able to block with their right hand. And we notice that the more we do with this type of blocking strategy, the more we do, the better we get at blocking a game. We're finishing to the center of the court, we're penetrating better, and we're isolating this move. Now we'll bring it all together. So I want you to go through every sequence that we have without the swing and then with the swing. Step slant and then step crossover slant. Double hand blocks. Let's do 2 of each and see the series that we'll do. And in practices we may do more or less, depending on if we want to, if we're just cleaning it up, if we're just making sure that we're sharp, or if we're actually teaching. So after we've taught, we'll go through these series just to keep things fresh. Go ahead, Shaylin. Step slant. We're looking for all the technique there. Step slant, press. Very good. Step slant, press. Step slant, press. Step slant, press. Nice. Step slant, press. Okay, so now she's going to work at a step, crossover, slant, press. Step, crossover, slant, press. Step, crossover, slant, press. Step, crossover, slant, step, crossover, slant, up. Step, crossover, slant, up. Now one of the things we notice, many times players again will stop short of Mike, and the tendency is to reach out to Mike. I'd much rather have them make sure that they get the stance all the way here so that they can have their strength into the court. Into the court. Now we're working with the swing block. It's crossover, swing. Crossover, swing. Keep that up. Crossover, swing. Crossover, swing. That's it. And they're doing a nice job of penetrating the net now. Step, crossover, slant. A little late, a little late. Okay, step. That's it. Got it. Step, crossover. That's it. Nice, nice, nice sequence, ladies. Shag those. Shaylin's dying.